Hi, welcome back to Dear Aunt Susan, Advice on Being Human. I'm your Aunt Susan Patang from the Quiet Zone Coaching. Quick commercial. I help women learn the life skills their parents never taught them, the ones that show you how to deal with stress, with frustration, with irritation, how to deal with other people's drama, the general BS of life, and also just how to wake up happy in the morning. That's what we all want, right? All right, into it we go. This particular episode is about creating healthy relationships. And before we even start talking about how to create a healthy relationship, we have to talk about what's holding us back, what's underlying the problems that we've had in the past with having healthy relationships. Why have we not had one before if we've been looking? So let's talk a little bit about that first before we go into anything else. Many of us do struggle with this, and I'm no exception. I will be the first to admit that. I am very happily married now, but it took a long time for me to learn how to behave in a relationship because I didn't have a good example. Some of us, when we grow up, if we come from unhappy situations where our parents, had some conflict and it wasn't a normal give and take relationship, we don't know how to behave in a relationship. So let's also consider why you want a relationship in the first place. A lot of times we feel like we have to have a relationship with another human being in order to prove that we're lovable. That's a self-esteem issue. You are a lovable human being, whether or not you have a relationship. So sometimes what we have to do is we have to, before we can have any kind of other relationship, we have to learn how to love ourselves. And I am going to have another session, another podcast episode about that. But that's too long for today. So we're just talking about relationships. But building self-esteem, that's huge. Okay. You have to be comfortable in your own skin because you can't have a relationship with somebody else if you don't love yourself first. And I know people are going to go, oh, come on, I'm tired of hearing that. It's the truth. Okay. You need to feel comfortable in your own skin. A lot of times we also feel the need to have a relationship because it's expected of us, whether it is expected of us from society, from our family, from our friends. Like, why aren't you married yet? Or your nosy Aunt Rosie, every time there's a family party, wants to know if you've had any hot dates lately and when are you going to get married? Or your mother wants to know when you're going to have some kids because she wants grandchildren. Okay. Yeah, I know. We've all been there. There's one in every family, right? Those are not good reasons to seek out a relationship. Okay. And there are ways to deflect people like that. But what I want you to do, first of all, is figure out why you want a relationship. Is it a healthy reason? And one healthy reason for having a relationship is that you love your life so much that you want to share it with somebody else. Okay. Developing a relationship to fill a void is always going to be a mistake. It is not going to fill the void because the void exists within you. There's your self-esteem problem. Having a relationship to fulfill somebody else's expectation isn't going to help you fulfill yours. Okay. You're the person that you need to please because nobody else is going to do it for you. All right. So first of all, let's sit down and decide why you feel like you need to have a relationship in the first place. Okay. And what if you're consistently attracting the wrong kind of person? Okay. Are your past relationships filled with inconsiderate, ambivalent people, angry people, people with substance abuse problems? Do you attract psychic vampires? Okay. Our attention is drawn to what is familiar to us. Okay. So if we are demonstrating to the world that we are desperate, we're needy, we have poor self-esteem, or that we're unhappy, we will attract partners that are the same way. A lot of times, and I know this was my problem too, is that I wanted to mother everybody. I wanted to make everybody feel better because I wasn't able to make myself feel better. So I felt like I needed to make other people better. And I would attract these people with great holes in their lives that needed to be filled. And there was no way I was going to be able to fill them. And that creates stress on me. It creates disappointment in them and in me, and it creates an unhappy relationship. So we want to make sure that what we are sending out to the world is a message of, I am happy in my own skin. I am happy with my life the way it is. And if you are worthy, I'd be willing to share it with you, but I don't need to have it. When you send out that needy vibe, you will attract the psychic vampires that will come along. We attract what we send out. So make sure that what you're sending out is positive. Okay. Love yourself first. And that's one of the first things to consider when you are trying to create a healthy relationship, is to love yourself first. Be grateful for what you already have. Be grateful for the way your life is right now. Forget about having the partner. Forget about that. Okay. Don't even think about that. Think about what is awesome and amazing and positive in your life right now. Do you have a great job? Do you love the place you're living? Do you have a cat or a dog that you love to death? What do you like to do? Do you have fun things that you love to do? Do you like to go bowling? Do you like to go walking in nature? Are you an exercise freak? What is it you love to do? Focus on those things. Be grateful for those things. There is sending out gratitude. There is sending out a message of fulfillment and happiness. Okay. Do not look for a relationship to make you happy, because it won't. It never will. And I know those are going to be hard words for some of you to hear, but you need to focus on you. What do you love to do? What do you think is a wonderful situation to have in your life, and create it for yourself? Forget about the relationship, because the more you focus on trying to get that relationship, the less likely you are to get it, and the less likely you are to have a healthy relationship. So learn to love yourself first, and learn to focus on what is great and awesome and amazing about your life right now. And if your life doesn't feel awesome and great and amazing, you need to make it that way first in order to attract somebody to you that is going to create a healthy relationship. So find the activities that you love to do, find the hobbies that you love to do. Then worry about the relationship. The relationship will happen when you stop looking for a partner. That's when you'll find one, guaranteed. Okay, happened to me. Make a list of all the wonderful things about you. Make a list of all the wonderful things about your life right now. Forget about the partner. Okay. Write them down, focus on them. And like I said before, if you can't think of anything, create some, find some new hobbies, experiment with some new things. Enjoy your life first. Be comfortable in your own skin before you start worrying about somebody else. Okay, enough about that. Identify your value system. Okay, sit down and write down what values are important to you as a human being. Do you want kindness? Do you want trust? Do you think creativity is important? Because all of your behaviors should be in congruence with that value system. Okay, and anybody that you allow into your life should also be abiding by a very similar value system. Okay, that's super important. What kind of person do you want to be? Be that person. Create that value system. Create that list of the things that you think are important and the kind of person that you want to be based on those values. Okay, take a hard look at your past relationships. What went wrong? Was it a communication issue? And oh, well, he cheated on me. Okay, well, why? Okay, was it because you didn't want to have sex with him? Is it because he's a serial cheater? Is it because you were mean and nasty to him? Or was it because he was a jerk? Be honest. Okay, what went on there? Take a hard look at your past relationships, because no relationship fails just because of one person. It usually fails because of the actions of two. One person may be more to blame than others, but be willing to accept your own contribution to the failure of past relationships and figure out what you can do in your next relationship to solve the problem so that doesn't happen again. Be solution oriented. Don't cast blame about who's at fault for what. How can I keep this from happening again? Okay. What does your dream relationship look like? Okay, so if you could create the relationship of your life, and what would it look like? Okay, be aware that you will probably never find it exactly, but you can say, well, here are the things that I would love to have, and these top 3 things are must-haves. Okay, they must be whatever. They must be loyal. They must be hardworking, and they must be kind. Okay, or whatever that list is to you. Okay, depending on your values. So that's why it's important to figure out your value system so you know what traits that you are going to find valuable in another human being. And then you're going to have to decide what are negotiable, okay, which you may or may not don't have to have, and other things that, no, I got to have that trait in a person. And do not settle, okay? Do not settle for something less, okay? Another thing that you should be doing too is to practice your communication and conflict resolution skills. There are a lot of different programs out there. I run one too on how to resolve conflict, how to communicate effectively, learn how to work through the inevitable conflict that's going to happen, because any relationship is going to run into some conflict from time to time. And it's not the conflict that's the problem. It's what you do with it and how you handle it. And you need to be able to work together to speak to each other with respect and love and work through the problem, being solution oriented. Okay. And remember to stay present in the moment. Okay. Because what happened in the past is past, and what hasn't happened in the future isn't here yet. So it's kind of irrelevant. Okay. You want to focus on what's happening right now. And you also want to make sure that you are managing your unrealistic expectations. Unrealistic expectations of how other people are going to behave and the realities of life are probably one of the number one causes of stress in our life. And also one of those way up there causes of conflict in relationships, because other people are not going to behave the way that we want them to behave. They are going to behave the way that they behave. And this is why you have to create some very strong boundaries for yourself. I am willing to accept this behavior, but I am not willing to accept that behavior. So that you know when somebody crosses that line, no, I'm done. It's over, because you have to make sure you're protecting yourself. If you like what you've heard here so far today, and you would like to learn more about how to build a healthy relationship for you specifically, not just generic tips like what I'm giving here today, go to www.thequietzonecoaching.com. I offer a free life skills assessment session, and we will sit down and we will figure out what is holding you back and what the strongest steps and techniques that you can use are to move forward to creating a healthy relationship. So I look forward to seeing you there. Until the next time, have a wonderful, awesome, amazing day.